The night is drawing to a close. Arkwade is perched on the edge of the bed. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on the sofa, zoning out as I stare at the clock. The time is a little after 4 in the morning. There's only about an hour left before dawn. Nothing unusual has happened so far, and Arkwade herself shows no signs of being nervous. The hotel is peaceful to a fault. I was honestly a little on edge because of how quiet everything was, but in the end it seems as though I was worried over nothing. I'm not sure why, but I get the feeling that tonight will continue to slip away uneventfully.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
Arkwade calls out to me for the upteenth time.
なんだよ。もう話すこととかないからな。
そうなの？せっかくこうしてるのにもったいないね。
あのな、さっきからどれだけおしゃべりに付き合ってると思ってるんだ。6時間だぞ、6時間。何が疲れたかって、見張りなんかよりそっちの方が疲れたよ、俺は。
Arkwade glares at me with displeasure. I'm just stating a fact. For whatever reason, she keeps trying to start up a conversation. I told her that if she's feeling weak, she's better off going to sleep, but she just won't listen to me, so we've wound up being conversation partners instead. I really don't understand what goes through her head. To make matters worse, my stomach is growling. Come to think of it, I haven't eaten in close to 24 hours. The last meal I had was breakfast yesterday.
お腹が減っているなら何か食べたら？せっかくホテルに泊まってるんだから、ルームサービスを使えばいいのに。
いえ、緊張感がそがれる。そういうお前の方こそ、何か食べた方がいいんじゃないか。弱ってるくせに眠りもしないんだから、せめて食事ぐらいしろよ。
式がいいなら私もやめとく。普通の食事もそれなりに意味はあるけど、一人で食べてもつまらないもの。
普通の食事って、食事に普通も特別も。
Oh, right. She doesn't look at it at all, but Arkwade is supposedly a vampire. If she is, then sucking human blood would be her way of having a meal. Arkwade said earlier that vampires need human blood in order to survive. If that's true, whose blood has she been sucking before? And consequently, how many humans has she killed? I steal a glance at Arkway's face. This is ridiculous. Even though she's explained to me numerous times that she is a vampire, I just can't imagine her sucking someone's blood.
何？私の顔になんかついてる？
Panicking, I look away. Arkwade stares intently at my face for a second, and then flashes a devious grin in my direction.
気になる？
何が？
私がどのくらいの数、人間から血を吸ったのか気になる？
She saw right through me. Arkwade is grinning so broadly that it's starting to make me a little uncomfortable. I don't like where this is going, but even so, I can't help but wonder how many people she's killed.
そりゃ気になるよ。俺はお前と協力してるんだ。それぐらい知っとかないと、いつお前が心変わりして襲いかかってくるか予測がつかないだろう。
That's what really is bugging me. Arkwade seems to have understood what I'm saying.
それじゃあ問題。私は今まで何人の血を吸ってきたでしょう。
Arkwade springs out of bed, lands on the floor with a soft thud, and walks over to the window.
何人のって、それは。
Arkwade smirks. It seems that she's enjoying watching me struggle to come up with an answer. It's obvious that she's been trying to provoke me. Fine, I'll give her a straight answer. We're talking about this weirdo here, so I'm sure that number is... I mean, I don't know how long she's been here, but I would assume it would be 1,000, right?
10人は少ない。
はい、全然惜しくないはずれね。
じゃあ100単位か。
残念、日和切ったはずれです。
なら1000単位なのか。
はい、それも豪快に外れだわ。
Damn. Arcoid makes a strange chuckling sound. It's not like I'm angry or anything, so why do I feel so incredibly frustrated?
じゃあそんなことはないと思うけど、まさかマン。
それも外れ。もう10だの100だの1000だのってシキは私のことそういう風に見てたわけね。ひどいな。それじゃあ見境なしじゃない。
違うのか。吸血鬼ってのは見境なしなんだろ。人間だって生きているだけで腹が減るんだ。お前たちだって生きていくために血を吸うんなら際限はないんじゃないのか。
そうね、それはそうなんだけど。私は自分から血を吸うなんてこの800年一度もないかな。普通の人間を殺したことだって一度もないよ。
Huh. You know, I was kind of speculating on that, but actually hearing that's kind of crazy. So, like, she really must be different on the scale of vampires, if that's the case. Even I can tell that's a perfectly strange thing for a vampire to say. But more importantly...
それ、本当の話か。
本当よ。だって私、血を吸うのが怖いんだもの。
血を吸うのが怖いって、吸血鬼なのに？
きっと臆病なのよ、私は。だからいつまで経っても吸血鬼としても半人前ってこと。
As she mutters those words, Arcoid looks out the window at the night sky. For a long time, the woman in white simply stares up at the sky. Viewed from behind, her figure is as indistinct and hazy as that of a phantom.
そっか。半人前なんだ。
I put a hand on my chest as I mutter those words. Huh? This feeling. Am I relieved? I wonder why. It doesn't make any sense.
どうかしたの、シキ？
別に何でもない。お前が臆病なチキンだから笑っただけ。
チキン？私、なんで鳥？
Yeah, she doesn't get the joke. Arcoid tilts her head in confusion. You'd never think she was a vampire based on the way she looks. Of course, it makes total sense I'd feel relieved. After all, it's just been made clear that the woman in front of me isn't a bad person at all. Why wouldn't I be relieved? At any rate, if I believe what Arcoid just said, then I don't need to worry about her turning around and killing me out of the blue. That's why I feel safe. Well, feeling safe is a part of it, but there's another, very different thing I'm relieved about. Jeez, what am I thinking? I can't believe my feelings are so out of whack that I'm happy about the fact that Arcoid is a failure as a vampire.
あれ？
I'm suddenly struck by a dizzying headache. Maybe I relaxed a little too much while talking with Arcoid. What's going on? A white haze clouds my vision. This is not the usual chronic anemia. I'm still able to think clearly. I just have a faint headache and a strange chill.
どうしたのよ、シキ？そんなに額に汗を浮かべちゃって。
I put a hand on my forehead to confirm. Arcoid's right. I'm sweating so much that my hand comes away soaked. This is strange. It's not like we're in a sauna, so why am I sweating so heavily? With rising unease in my chest, I look over at the digital clock in the room. The clock reads 4:32 a.m. The temperature has dropped down to 11 Celsius with the morning chill. I shouldn't be sweating nearly this much in this weather. No, actually, this room feels as hot as a midsummer heat wave.
アルクエド、お前暑くないのか？
別に活動に異常をきたすほどの温度じゃないでしょ。まだたったの38度だし。弱っているとはいえ、今の私でも3000度ぐらいまでなら普通だよ。
It was stupid of me to ask. 3,000 degrees Celsius? Can you not even burn a vampire with a blowtorch? No, I'll have to save that question for another time. The display on the clock hasn't budged from 11 degrees Celsius. Even the machine is on the fritz or some... either the machine is on the fritz or something's wrong with my ability to tell what temperature is. As I look around the room trying to spot something else with the temperature readout,
なんだあれ
my eyes end up glued to the monitor installed in the room, the one with the video feed of the hotel lobby.
燃え
Oh no! It's on fire! I can't believe my eyes. It's a scene straight out of a movie. Oh shit. The flames splash and spill outwards in waves. A human-shaped figure writhes around, black smoke pouring out of it. A large carnivore is greedily devouring that figure.
アルクエイド
Arkoi doesn't say a word. Is that hostility? No. Contempt in her eyes? She's staring at the monitor, her emotions totally different to mine. It takes less than a minute for the lobby to sink below the sea of flames. The fire alarms do not ring. The thermometer doesn't rise. I'm still sweating profusely, and my throat is parched just from breathing. It doesn't take a genius to work out what's going on. It's the enemy. Those burning corpses from this afternoon have made their way into this hotel. I run to the window to see what's happening outside. There's no change on the cityscape. Despite the towering flames, none of the people outside seem to have noticed anything out of the ordinary. Nobody's making their way into the hotel, nor is there anyone trying to escape from it.
どうなってるんだアルクエイド
Arcoid is stubbornly keeping her mouth shut. The seconds tick away. The temperature in the room continues to climb. It feels as though my skin is about to roast. I don't know what's going on outside in the corridor. I don't know what's going on downstairs either. All I know is that a niggling voice in the back of my mind is telling me that it's already too late. Arcoid still hasn't said anything. Is she anxious? Or maybe frustrated? She's just standing there motionless, clutching herself as though trying to hold something back. She'd said something about how she wasn't going to leave this room. I'm pretty sure that was her way of saying she's not strong enough to do anything right now. If that's the case, what should I be doing in this situation? Oh shit, we have to make a choice? Oh, fuck off. I'm gonna leave. Let's see what happens if we leave. Alright. I take a small deep breath and shake off my doubts. I look around the room for anything I could use as a weapon, but I find nothing. Swallowing my hesitation, I take a knife out of my bag and walk over to the door.
シキ様子を見てくる俺が戻ってくるまで部屋から出るな
Arcoid seems like she wants to say something, but I brush off her gaze and go out in the hallway. Okay, the hallway looks fine. The lights in the hallway are off. Something must be wrong with the electrical system. The only thing still lit is the bank of the elevators at the end of the hallway. My throat hurts even more than it did when I was in the room. The air surrounding me is hot and rough as sandpaper. The hallway is frighteningly quiet. Not a single sound can be heard. There are no signs of life at all. There are no blank running away. No blank being burnt to a crisp. A space so tense and soundless, I almost want to believe that the scene I saw on the monitor wasn't real.
異常はないよな
I walk down the hallway. The sweat on my forehead coalesces into droplets that roll down my face. It's so oppressively quiet that I start to feel like I'm trespassing. Trespasser, trespasser, trespasser. It is customary for vermin that disturb the atmosphere of a place to be crushed. I take another deep breath to calm myself down. My hands are slick with sweat. I adjust my grip on the knife, wrapping my fingers around the handle so it won't slip. I feel nauseous. There's a strange sensation at my temple, as though nerves are reaching out from my back of my eyeballs toward my brain. Are my eyeballs trying to sink into my brain? Or is my brain trying to swallow my eyeballs? Biting down on the dull pain, I continue to walk along the scorching path. Uh-oh. It hurts. My eyes hurt. My head has grown heavy, and I'm so lightheaded that I could keel over any minute. Yeah, I know this feeling. It's how I always feel right before I collapse from anemia. It hurts. It hurts so much that I can't bear it anymore, and I take off my glasses. The elevator comes into view. It's a long hallway. More than 20 meters remain between me and the elevators. They're so far away I can tell myself. Just turn back, I tell myself. For some reason, I feel as though if I go any further, there will be no turning back. I hear a sound, as if to disturb the peace of this immaculate, lifeless space. The chime of an elevator bell rings. It's so ominous that I stop in my tracks. I can do nothing but stare at the uninvited guest. Who is it? The floor indicator stops moving. The cab arrives. I can see the lines on the elevator door in the distance. No, it's more like the lines are so bunched up that they look like a wall of speckles. The door opens. The small iron box hangs agape. What is it or who is it? The inside of the box is awash with the flesh of the recently deceased. Oh jeez. I stop breathing. As my brain rejects the thoughts, so too do my lungs abandon their functions. An iron box, an elevator, tightly packed piles of red flesh. In the midst of it all are two dogs, ravenously gobbling up the meat. Everything I can see is stained red. Red, vicious fluid begins to flow out of the elevator with gurgling sound. Within that sea of blood, bodies, bones, brains, fingers, and organs. The two black dogs are the only living creatures. My mind refuses to accept this scene as reality. At the end of the hallway, inside the elevator, the dogs are scavenging off people's bodies. Within the elevator is a vent leading to the floor below. Leaking through that vent are countless screams that I couldn't hear before. If I listen carefully, I can hear them. The scratching, scraping sounds of flesh being chewed on. The screams calling for help. The sounds of death and agony that barely resemble human language. My brain, directly connected to my hearing, can picture what's happening. Although I can't see it, the images form within my head. Images of people being burned alive. Images of people being eaten alive. There was a man who had noticed the unusual temperature. The moment he opened his door to flee, he was engulfed by the conflagration and died. There was a girl who had locked herself in a room, sat down in the bath, and cried. The flames rising from the lobby blanketed the floor, and her body was turned to ash from the inside, like a steamed fish. Holy shit! There were adults that scrambled for the elevator as fast as they could, but the elevator was filled with dozens of former guests. These guests, no longer human, greedily set upon the adults they had just arrived. Half of the screams were out of fear of being eaten, and the other half in despair at being burned alive. No one was spared. Beneath my feet, inside this large box of a hotel, lies a hellscape so close to me that it makes my skin crawl. I feel nauseous, but I can't let myself throw up, because if I did that, I would also become one with the sea of red. I force my stalled breathing to resume. Gritting my teeth, I regain control of myself. The dogs in the elevator notice my presence. Oh god. Having come back to my senses, I realize that the noise from downstairs has ceased. In other words, that means that there's no one left alive anymore. The two black dogs break into a run. In this hunting ground, I'm their final prey. The dogs rush towards me. I can see countless lines on their bodies, but despite this, my paralyzed mind doesn't instruct me to fight or to run. Uh-oh. The first of the two dogs leaps. Its speed is its speed is incomparable to that of a human. It took less than 2 seconds for it to run the length of the 20-meter hallway. Jesus. The black dog opens its mouth. Its fangs, like rows of saw teeth, lunge for my throat, swift and precise. At the same moment, my brain finally processes that it's coming from me. The dog's fangs sink into my throat with a wet squelch. Oh god. I, Tono Shiki, have died. What? Oh shit. No, that's not right.
Psych!
There's no way I could be killed like this. No way I could die like this. I won't hesitate just because people are dead. A hot summer day. It was a long time ago, or maybe it was 7 years ago. I'm certain that back then I witnessed a much more vividly gruesome scene than this. Stab. I plunged my knife into the forehead of the black dog that had snapped at the nape of my neck. The moment its fangs touched my skin, just before it bit into my carotid artery, my arm moves on its own. There you go. Good shit. I'm amazed at myself. I run my blade through the forehead of the dog with no wasted motion, like a machine whose only function is to slash and kill. Because that was where the first dog's line was. Under normal circumstances, an animal won't stop moving the instant its brain is destroyed. Muscles that have already received signals from the brain will execute the last given command for as long as they are able. So even if I more or less tear its head apart, the dog's fangs will still bite my neck off. Yeah, well, under normal circumstances, that is. However, the dog is dead. To die is to be stopped. At the moment it was about to kill me, it lost all validity. The first dog falls to the ground. Then here comes the second one. In its place, the second dog leaps for my face. I thrust my knife into its open mouth. With a rending sound, the blade burrows itself into the dog's flesh. The dog's hide may be tough, but its insides are soft. Its bones and flesh are both literally rotten. However, this was a mistake. This thing's line isn't on its face, but its chest. By stabbing it in the mouth, all I've managed to do is tear a hole in its flesh. The knife I plunged into the roof of the dog's mouth reaches all the way to the back of its head. Of course, the hand holding the knife is now also inside the dog's mouth. The dog is still alive. It's still able to clamp down with its jaws. At this rate, the cartilage, the soft tissue that connects my hand holding the knife in my arm, will be bitten in half. The pain finally brings me back to my senses. You've got to be kidding me. What the hell am I doing sticking a knife into a dog's mouth and letting it bite my arm off? I desperately try and pull my arm out. The pain of my arm being pulverized is so intense that I start seeing stars. The dog's fangs don't show any signs of letting go. No, not just that. Even though I've skewered this dog through its head, it's still brimming with energy. The dog shakes its body and forcefully positions itself on top of me. Oh god, I collapse to the floor with a thud, but I still can't get my arm out. Even though I've run the dog through with my knife, it continues to clamp down with its jaws. My arm is being ripped off. I can't believe it. Dogs aren't supposed to be able to keep biting down when they're in a state like this. I feel something wet and slimy. Looking at the dog's mouth, I can see drops of blood spilling out. Is it coming from the hole I stabbed in the dog's head? Or is this blood coming from my arm that's getting bitten off? To be honest, my addled mind doesn't even care which it is. Even if I tried to get away, the dog has already lashed onto my arm. There's no way I can escape. There was never a way for me to escape to begin with. I don't have a choice. I just want to survive. And if I want to survive, there's only one thing I have to do. Really, all I have to do is kill this thing. So what should I do? One of my arms will be torn off in a matter of seconds. My knife is held in the same arm. I'm being pushed down. Even if I manage to pull my arm out, the black dog will bite my neck the very instant it gets free. In the midst of this hopeless situation, I let slip a laugh. Everything's going to be fine. I just have to step back, examine the situation, and think carefully about what to do next. That's the teaching that's gotten you this far, right? Look, there's even a whole bunch of lines right there on the back of the dog's head. See? It's always easy to work out what needs to be done to survive. So then, why am I hesitating? This is a violent animal, a beast that devours humans. But even so, right next to me, suffocatingly close, is the other living being, its pulse racing. The pressure bearing down on my arm grows even stronger. Stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm being so inconsistent that I should just let myself be killed. In this world, it's kill or be killed. So then, why do humans, hesitate like it's some sort of cruel act? A drop of red blood falls on my face. It slowly drips down my forehead and into my eyes. Dark vermilion seeps into the back of my eyeballs. A vermilion color that scorches my vision. A hot, thick, nostalgic liquid. Ooh, nostalgic. Ugh, this is scary. I feel dizzy and lightheaded. Still, I can't kill something that's alive. How hypocritical. You've already killed a much greater animal than a lowly beast. Yeah, you're right. But that time was different. Shiki wasn't in his right mind when he killed Arcade. Even when I took down the first black dog, it had nothing to do with my own will. But this time, the decision is mine to make. Isn't that what Sensei said, Shiki? That this power belongs to you alone. That it's up to you how to use it these eyes. That's why, as long as I am who I am, as long as I continue to be a decent human being, I should respect life and never treat it lightly. But that's also hypocrisy. Because a long time ago you already... A bad dream from my childhood. Come on, what are you waiting for? It was a hot summer day. If you hadn't killed him, he'd have killed you instead. In front of me was the figure of a boy covered in blood. You're already... the hot red blood on my hands. What the fuck? Killed someone once before, haven't you? I stab it. Instead of pulling out my arm, I drive it even further into the black dog's head. A cry of pain echoes in my eardrums. The black dog's cry of agony is like the high-pitched scream of a woman. It can't howl properly because my arm is stuck in its mouth, but it's howling all the same. I bet it must have hurt a lot, but I don't care. I use the arm caught in the dog's jaws to thrust the knife even deeper. The knife emerges from the back of the black dog's head. It splits its skull and easily slices through the skin. Sticky gobes of blood and brain tissue spray everywhere. Incidentally, the rest of my arm also passes completely through its head. But despite all that, the black dog is still alive. There's only one thing to do. I reach out my other arm, I rip the knife from my bloody fingers, and grasp it firmly into my left hand. The dog's whole body trembles in supplication. It looses its fangs as if trying to apologize. Like I care. Shit! Whoa! I simply dismantle the black dog along its line. Holy shit. Crisis averted? Question mark? Holy sh... Can I just take a second to just revel at the situation because... Shiki killed someone as a child? I want to know more about that. Because they kind of just like flew past it like it didn't happen, even though it definitely did, and that's the reason he survived the dog attack. And just how much he's changed in his view of like killing living things? Like, at first he was like, oh, I can't kill anything. And then he remembered that, and I was like, oh, I've been through this before. And then he just kills it with ease. As if that struggle between him and the dog with its arm never happened. And then Arcweed is just chilling in there, sleeping or some shit, while I'm in a whole crisis. Like, what the hell? Jesus. Anyway, moving on. I look down at what used to be living things. I remove the dog's jaw from around my arm with ease.
なんだ全然食い込んでないじゃないか
I look at my bloody arm. There are bite marks on my school uniform, but the marks gouged into my flesh are no more than a centimeter deep. The majority of the blood belongs to the black dog whose head I pierced. The pain I felt when it bit me had been minor, but my fear had made it seem many times worse than it was. I lie down on the ground and look up at the ceiling. My head hurts. The world has started to fray at the edges, and I can see the lines of death poking through here and there. The warmth has completely faded from my limbs, but my mind is still feverishly turning over. Right next to me are the corpses of the two black dogs. One of my arms is smeared with blood, and the other is clutching a red knife. In addition, there are countless human corpses littering the lower floors. I can't help but laugh, because none of this is real. There's no way any of this could be real. Therefore, I must be normal. I'm completely, absolutely normal. The only crazy thing here is the dream I'm having. As soon as I wake up, it'll be all over. Oh, he's in denial. He is so delusional right now. Just like when he first killed Arcweed. But how long have I been dreaming with my eyes wide open like this? Ding, a cheerful sound rings out, terribly out of place.
出た
Another elevator arrives right next to the one from earlier. My exhausted brain cannot process what this means. The door opens. Even though my brain isn't functioning properly, my body automatically stands up and shifts the knife back into my right hand, ready to face whatever gruesome scene is about to unfold. I don't like this at all. The second iron box swings open. Inside it is...
から
There's nothing inside. This feels like a bit of an anticlimax. The danger is past. Everything may be over already, but at least now I know what happened on the lower floors. Since there's no longer any reason to be here, I turn to go back when... Who's that? A comically absurd female voice rings out. Her voice, along with her footsteps, grows louder and louder. There's no doubt about it. A survivor is breathlessly running up the stairs next to the elevators.
やったここ燃えてない
I can hear her cries of joy. The sound of her footsteps doesn't stop. The source of the voice tumbles onto the landing by the elevators.
ねえそこの
Who is that? Noticing my presence in the hallway, the woman begins to run once again.
君助かった私助かった
Her face, which has been tensed with fear, now begins to radiate joy. A pallid hand appears and drags the hope back into the depths of hell.
そういや
She continues to stare at me, begging for help. Oh, that's Vlav. That's Vlav, alright. Yep, I know that hair from anywhere. I should have noticed earlier, but the flames... Yeah. She doesn't mount any resistance at all. The woman is restrained with ease. The instant she's grabbed by his hand, she loses consciousness as though suddenly waking from a dream. Stop. Stop right there. Let her go. Ooh. She has nothing to do with us. She is just an innocent woman. Don't feed on her, at the very least.
やめ
Oof. My plea doesn't make it in time. Even if it had, it wouldn't have made a difference. I stare at the woman's neck. It feels as though stars are streaking across my eyes. Unprecedented rage sharpens my vision. God, that face is horrifying. What the fuck? Two bottomless eyes cloaked with bloody resentment. The woman's limbs twitch softly. All emotion and vitality drains from her face, stolen away by that man. I've never seen anything like this before. Yet despite only now seeing it for the first time, I don't need any explanation to know what's taking place. I can even hear the sound of him gulping it down. After a long period of feasting, the man casually discards the body. The woman falters like a withered tree, a ballerina dancing on the precipice above the abyss of death. On her wrenched back, there are no screams. Only the sound of bloodshed echoes through the air. Her ruptured back, a shower of blood. The vampire lets out a sigh of relief as he bathes in it. It's like that shot in the opening, yeah? Yep, no question about it. That is Vlav. One and only. The world changes drastically. The apparent temperature finally matches that of reality. A layer of flame envelops the corridor, like a river of overtopping a dam. The heat scorches my skin. If I breathe now, my lungs will fry for sure. But something's off. They're burning. The flames are definitely flickering, and yet the building isn't being burned. The only one affected by these flames is me, a living creature. I can feel a headache coming on. The man starts walking towards me. He is the source of this river of flames. The closer he gets, the hotter the atmosphere becomes. He's still 15 meters away. He isn't even that close, but I'm already unable to breathe. In other words, any living thing would be annihilated if they so much as approached this man. The slim figure advances towards me. His outfit is eccentric, elegant, traditional style clothing, cloaked in a barbarian overcoat. He may resemble a human, but it's clear this man is anything but. Everything is out of sync. I'm about to go crazy. 13 meters. He strides towards me in complete silence. He's like, "You next, bitch." I ready my knife and glare at the man. Are you really gonna fight this dude? Oh, nah. No response. I wonder if he can even see me. 10 meters. I fix my eyes on him. Within the midst of the rolling flames, his lines of death come into view. Where is Arquid at? I need her assistance right now. What is that? Is that like a ghost trick core or some shit? The contents of my skull boil like soup. What the hell is that? An intricate, swirling, dense torrent of death. It shines conspicuously at its core like a jewel. My headache becomes too much to bear, and I tear my eyes away. That thing is bad news. I shouldn't stare at the point at that man's core. It's like how if you look directly at the sun, you'll burn your retinas. My brain will explode if I look at that thing without preparing myself first. 8 meters. The distance between us continues to shrink. The temperature is rising, but it's still not hot enough to burn my flesh. 6 meters. The man stops there. His gaze focuses on me. Having come this close, the man finally notices I'm here. Our eyes meet. I shouldn't be making eye contact with him. The woman in white's warning flashes across my mind. But I can't take my eyes off him, oh no. I can't ignore the bottomless voids in front of me. His eyes are indifferent. They must be fundamentally different to the mystic eyes that the woman in white was talking about. These eyes don't have the power to paralyze at all, because these are eyes of madness, the eyes of the madman, an ugly, ungainly being that's driven by nothing but his impulses, cast about on the waves of his own abnormality, a psychopath just like me. My instincts tell me that I'm in danger. Alarm bells ring inside my head, but my body still won't move. Not even a single fingertip responds. Danger signals ricochet around my skull. No matter what means or methods I use, I must get away from here immediately, or else my life will come to an end. But it's already too late. The sickly-eyed man, without even acknowledging my existence, burns me to death with his hands. Oh no. I'm dead. After all, these flames are the real deal. The blue flames that drench the hallway are nothing more than an effect that manifests outside of reality. Even if I were swallowed by them, it wouldn't be able to kill me outright. They must be some kind of phantom pain that only affects living beings. But this is different. These flames are real. Simply getting close to them would be enough to burn my skin. Anything living would turn to ash from a single touch. Sharp claws of flame lash out at me. My body will be cut in two at the waist and burn up as the fire spreads from that cross-section. An outcome even more obvious than the fire itself. And yet, just before the flames connect, Arcweed is finally fucking here. Holy shit. A thud reverberates down the hallway and my body is yanked backwards. A sound of utter disbelief escapes my throat. My thoughts go blank. I understand what happened. Arcweed pulled me back, and as she did so, stepped in front of me to take the brunt of that hand. But her actions make no sense to me whatsoever. I'm the one who's supposed to be acting as a shield here. So why is she hurting herself in order to protect me? Arcweed's face twists in agony. Pushing the flames back. The flaming hands reach out again and again. She doesn't need to pull me back this time. Arcweed swings her right hand, just as she did in the alleyway, and disperses the flames. But she doesn't manage to block everything. The flames aren't fully extinguished, and the dregs scorch her skin. You're telling me that even a person like Arcweed can get burned by a direct hit? Are these flames hot enough that they'll prove fatal even to her, the woman furthest away from death? It all happened in under 5 seconds. 10 shots were fired, and 10 shots were intercepted. For whatever reason, the man solemnly lowers his arm. He stares at Arcweed in silence. She glares back at the man in pain, her stomach dyed in deep red. The man is only paying attention to Arcweed. He's acting as though the knife-wielding guy behind her isn't even there. Steam pours from his mouth. After expelling a breath like exhaust from an engine, the man reaches under his coat with his left hand. I hear a faint metallic clink. Yeah, he has a sword. There's no mistaking it. That was the sound of a blade. There's a long object hidden under that coat. It must be the same thing he used to slash the woman in front of the elevator. The man begins to move. With the blade still hidden under his coat, he goes to take a step toward Arcweed. Whoa! The font changed and everything. The man's legs stop in their tracks. A flicker of ego stirs in his ghostly eyes. Arcweed's words were in a language I couldn't make heads or tails of, but the man lets out a gurgle sound in response. His voice sounds pained, as if he had forgotten that he was a living creature until now.
礼儀は知っている。だが、貴様に語るほどの名はまだない。
礼儀はなっていないけど、恥だけは足りているようね。元の名前は失ったか。でも呼び名ぐらいはあるでしょ。継いだばかりのようだけど、仮にもその一角なんだから。
The atmosphere changes. The intensity of the blue flames burning in the hallway skyrockets. Did Arkoid's words strike some nerve in the man?
ブローブ。
A troubled expression on his face, the flame-spreading vampire speaks.
ブローブ・アルハンゲリ。
And in doing so reveals his name.
知らない名前。私が記録していない以上、正当な後継者とも思えない。もしかして親は自滅？
そうではない。ご当主は俺が仕留めた。
なったばかりの祖ってこと？じゃあ次は私を殺して箔をつけたい？
名誉は己の胸にあるものだ。俺は俺が欲しいものしか奪わない。
心構えは立派だけど、それなら私だけに絞りなさい。これはちょっとやりすぎよ。
いや、この都市は汚れている。焼き尽くさなければ俺の心情に戻る。
あっそう。つまり蛮族同然の三流使徒だったわけ。
粗野であることは自覚している。神祖の姫、その心臓を俺によこせ。
This is bad. The space around the vampire that calls himself Vlav warps. The river of flame that pours out from around him grows even larger. Arkoid's body acts as a breakwater, preventing me from being swallowed by the raging torrent.
動かないでシキ。この炎があいつの武器。消し炭になりたくなかったら私の後ろから離れないで。
As much as I appreciate her advice, I can't help but feel a sense of unease that can't be put into words. That's his weapon? Really? Because if he's created an environment as superheated as this one, it's almost as if his true form is actually... No, now's not the time to think. I focus my attention and grasp the knife. Here it comes. The hallway has already become a cave of fire, just as Vlav is about to unleash the blade from under his coat.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Huh? This happens. The man turns his back on us all of a sudden. He walks over to the elevators as if nothing had happened, boards one with the same air of composure, and leaves the floor. He just bounces? After all that? I don't understand what's going on at all anymore. Not the two dogs that attacked me, not the flames that covered the corridor, and not the nightmarish reality that descended on this hotel. Arkoid collapses against me with a thud. It's a nasty wound. The bleeding from her stomach has stopped, but her face is contoured in pain. It happened just a few seconds ago. She got that wound protecting me from that man.
そうだよ。お前、なんで？
ちょっと甘く見てた。あれくらいならシキを助けて私も軽くかわせると思ったんだけど。さすがだねシキ。シキにやられた傷、そんなに甘くなかったみたい。
Damn. With her face so contorted in pain, Arkoid cracks a smile at her own joke. I can't look at her. She got that wound protecting me. On top of that, she wouldn't even have been in harm's way if it weren't for me in the first place. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond when she looks at me with that idiotic smile on her face. Arkoid leans her body against mine and gently closes her eyes.
ちょっと待て。何目を閉じてるんだバカ。しっかりしろ。お前は夜なら死なない吸血鬼なんだろ。
でも私なんだか限界みたい。悪いんだけど部屋まで連れ帰っておいて。
Arcade collapses on me. I feel the weight of her body as I catch her in my arms.
ちょっと待ってくれ。そんな。
If you die on me right now, I really won't know how to respond.
ダメだ。起きろ、アルクエイド。
I call out to her as she lies there with her eyes softly shut. And then... she's just sleeping, relax. Her somnolent breathing sounds so happy it makes me feel like an idiot for yelling a second ago. All my worries melt away. It seems that Arcade is just asleep.
部屋まで連れてけって、また勝手なこと言いやがって。
But given the circumstances, I let it slide. And besides, it's not a good idea to stick around this hotel any longer. This place is an absolute bloodbath. Even if nobody outside could hear all the bizarre events that transpired here, sooner or later someone's going to notice. My headache won't let up. My body is also at its limit. I put on my glasses so I can at least rid myself of the headache.
アルクエイドの部屋って、あそこか。
I've only been there once, but I definitely remember it. There's no point in staying here. I retrieve my luggage from the royal suite, and with Arcade in my arms, shamefully leave the now vacant hotel. Arcade's gonna chew you out when you get back to the mansion, I hope you know that. And it's daytime already. Or morning. The sky outside is bright.
そうか。そういうことか。
The reason why the man left was so simple. The sun has already fully risen over the city. Without me even noticing, night had given way to day. First things first, I should let Arcade get some rest. I decide not to catch a cab. A suspicious pair like us are bound to be remembered. Trying to put as much distance as possible between us and the hotel, I board a bus headed for Soya Station. Fortunately, it's early in the morning, so we don't attract any attention. The emergency exit at the back of the building is still the same as it was the day before yesterday. The residents and managers must not have noticed that the lock had been cut. 6:30 a.m. Once again, I creep into the room of the self-proclaimed vampire woman. I have a feeling that this long day has come to an end at last. Jeez, a long day indeed.